Hi there YouTube, Joel from Jonesy's and Adventure Vehicles Northwest, and today is a very exciting day. This unnamed Cummins diesel Suburban behind me gets its name, and it also goes back to its owner. So stick around for those details next. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you guys to our latest Cummins diesel Suburban completed project. This one is called the Yeti. We got a lot of good name suggestions from our last video, part 1. If you guys haven't seen that video, you definitely want to go check it out. But we settled on the Yeti. I think it's fitting. This Suburban just looks like a Yeti, honestly. It's a great name for it. So like I said, check out the first video because we go through all of the kind of the build details, and this video is going to be just highlighting the finished product and going through some of the cool features that we put into this custom Suburban. So let's start with the very first thing that you guys probably notice is the bumpers. We like to use the move bumpers. Move bumpers are relatively easy to fabricate if you've got some basic skills, and they just look really well, and they allow us to customize it. So we called up Move. They sent us over the bumpers. Nope, this is not a sponsored video. We paid for the bumpers. But what I like about the Move stuff is that you can customize them. And I'll go through some of those details in the rear of the vehicle where we talk about the swing out tire rack. But tied in the Move bumpers with the worn winch and just some basic off-road lights. We tied the one set of these pod lights to the low beams, and the other set, as well as the center light bar, is tied to the high beams. So this thing has a lot of light at night, which is awesome. Worn winch is their VR series. It's got a remote, so it's wireless. We also added in a front camera so that you can get really tight up against stuff and see what's in front of you. We'll go back to the rear and we'll kind of talk about the rear swing out. This is something that every one of these I do, it just gets a little bit better and a little bit better. So we bias the tire. These are 37 1250s on a 17x8 with a 0 offset wheel. That's for those of you who want to nerd out on some tire specs. So we have a locking pin on this side, which just rides around on that stainless steel wear plate and then locks the swing out in the open position. We added in a ladder so that you can get up to the Smitty built Defender roof rack. And then this is what I'm most proud of, honestly. So we bought kind of a kit, a DIY tire kit from Rough Stuff, and it comes with the hinge, the mounting plate, and it comes with this cam over style latch. Well, I don't necessarily trust these in their normal configuration. A lot of guys run them and don't have any issues. But again, it would be a very bad day if this tire swing out were to come loose. So what I did is I designed, obviously you can see this little safety pin, but if you take a look, we'll call this the striker plate. I designed the striker plate with this safety pin so that there's no way, even if the cam over were to come loose with this pin installed, it can't come out and come out. And then in addition, this striker, I wanted the actual like catch block or striker plate, whatever you want to call it, to be basically a 0 clearance, so have it fit tight. So I ended up building this piece out of steel, and then I used a spare piece of 2-inch square tube and then molded actually around it. So this is a molded piece out of 50 durometer polyurethane. It's UV stable and it's meant for outdoor use. So what that allows is a really snug 0 clearance fit, and it provides a little bit of cushioning for this latch. So that's how all that goes together, and voila, you've got a totally secure, zero rattle. I mean, it does flex a little bit, but you have a zero rattle tire rack that is 100% supported on both sides through the hinge as well as the other ones. And this is why I like the move bumpers, because you can do stuff like that. You can add the swing out. Okay, moving on. Nice upgrade on the backup lights. Tied those into the reverse switch so those come on. And then we also added a high def rear camera, which is awesome. It's super clear. Added this little protector for it so that it won't get damaged. Put some skid tape on all of the ladder rungs going up to get to the roof rack. And there you go. You've got your custom swing out tire carrier built by Jonesy's via Move Bumpers. So let's kind of go around the side, and then we'll go under the hood and kind of show you the details of that. So as you can see, this vehicle is just gonna be driven. So I didn't try to sugarcoat it. I've put about 220 some odd miles on it for the shakedown. Oh, here, kind of our signature on these Suburbans. Add the Cummins logo to the side behind the rear door. I think that just really sets it off. This rig will, with these tire size, will need, I think, some mud flaps and potentially some running boards, but the 4-inch suspension lift with those 35s just really makes this truck look really good. Really happy with the stance on it. And it rides really well too. With all of that suspension work that we did and the redhead steering box, this thing really just drives tight down the road. It's a really nice, pleasurable ride. So anyway, let's get to the heart of it. Why everybody loves these Suburbans we build. Oh, the engine bay. My goal for all of these conversions is to try to make them look as factory as I can, like it was engineered to go in there. And every one of them presents its own little challenges. And this one, being a 94, it's actually getting to be difficult to find a battery tray that will work on the driver's side to add in the dual batteries. So what I ended up doing is I took a later model battery tray, and then, hopefully you can see it, I built a custom bracket that goes down there and mounts. Now, for all the guys running intercoolers, obviously you guys can tell this one is not intercooled. I don't know how the fit would work for that, but that driver's side battery tray might be something we will offer in the future through the website to continue to support these swaps. But anyway, that's the driver's side battery, and these Cummins, they really do need dual batteries. So okay, over here, factory AC lines hooked up to our conversion AC compressor, our high mount kit. All that stuff just fits in here so nicely. It does get very tight over here. All of the coolant lines, the AC lines, everything on the passenger side gets to be really, really tight. But there's enough room around all that stuff with the high flow air kit. This guy right over here, the one on top, is the grid heat timer relay that's adjustable, and then underneath of it is the voltage regulator kit, and right over there is the relay for the voltage regulator kit. Coming over onto this side, you can see some people have had some success of running the factory cruise control unit. I don't like to do that. I don't think they work nearly as well. And so what we do is we install a universal cruise control kit from Rostra and pick it up directly from the factory speed sensor. And they work really well. You can check out our throttle linkage over here. We just built this little custom bracket here to hold the two cables. And this is actually the TBI cable that we just added this end to. And funny story, well, not that funny, but I've been driving this thing for 180 miles and I've had no problems. And then I'm driving it home from dinner with my daughter one night, and all of a sudden I lose throttle. And somehow this linkage just unscrewed. I'll put a picture of it in there. It just vibrated loose and unscrewed. So that's the type of stuff that you know, you drive it and you drive it and you drive it, and until you've driven it enough and you've vibrated all the bolts that you can vibrate, like, you never know what type of little stuff is going to happen. So I do like to put a couple 100 miles on these things before I toss the keys to the owner. But anyway, back to the cruise control. Yep, roster unit, works great. It's easily calibrated, easy to tie in. If this is a factory gasoline vehicle to start with, like this one was, then all of the wires you need to hook it up are already in this location where the factory original cruise control unit was mounted, I should say. Built a custom fan shroud for it. I just like to do half shrouds. Hopefully you guys can see that. These things cool so well that they don't even really need a shroud, but it's nice. It cleans everything up. It looks like, again, looks more like a factory install. And it also adds a little bit of protection from that fan blade swinging around. Crossover pipe for the upper radiator hose. This is actually a dual diameter hose. So it's got one ID here, different ID there, and then it even goes to another ID over there. So this hose changes sizes 3 times, if you can believe that. But because of how we do the crossover tube and we have the expansions, you really almost can't even tell. So again, that's another little trick of the trade. So okay, let's go inside and I'll tell you guys what we did inside. So inside the Suburban, we put in new carpet, and then we just cleaned pretty much everything else. Installed our typical pillar gauge set. So it's got EGTs, transmission temp, as well as boost. Hopefully you can see that, but they're factory matched and they just work really well with the factory cluster. Now, we did source a diesel cluster, had it remanufactured, and reset the odometer back to 0, because essentially this truck is back to 0. Transmission was rebuilt, transfer case was completely inspected and resealed, all the suspension has been rebuilt, the engine was freshened up. So like all of the major components of this thing, mechanically wise, with the exception of the rear differential, are essentially new. So we like to use the diesel clusters. 2 reasons. Number 1, it says diesel fuel only. Number 2, the tach you can hook up directly to your alternator and it works. So let's get over to the kind of the audio video stuff. We spared no expense, got a nice head unit that's Apple CarPlay compatible from Kenwood, and put a high definition camera for the reverse and a regular one for the front. And there you can see that picture is just awesome. So we'll switch over to the front, and there's the front. So really cool unit. It's awesome that they make this conversion piece here so that it fits in the factory spot, and then you gain a little bit of a cubby hole where the original radio was. So nice. That's a nice addition to these trucks. Continuing on with that theme, like you can tell, we put the power tow mirrors with the cheater mirror on the bottom. Love these mirrors. Factory mirrors are pretty good on these trucks, but the upgraded towing mirrors are just that much better. Mounted the Quick 2 transmission controller right under the center console. So that's pretty clean and simple. And then I just always leave the USB plug connected up to it so that you can tune it. I prefer to tune these with the laptop. And to be honest with you, we didn't really have to do a whole lot of tuning. The factory low RPM diesel tune that is supplied with these Quick 2 kits works pretty well. Obviously, you need to go through the instructions and calibrate your throttle position sensor, and then also calibrate your speedometer and tire size and go through all that stuff. But it's pretty straightforward. US Shift has a lot of good tech support. They got a lot of good videos. And then what's also really cool is they have a speed sensor speedometer output so that you can then scale your speedometer to be accurate which is a nice feature also. So that pretty much sums up the interior. We ended up dyeing a lot of these components, freshened up the floor mats. But what's awesome about these trucks is they age really, really well. At least around here, they age well. So let's get it started up. See, all of the gauges are working. Because these trucks, again, 94, have kind of mechanical linkages for the shifter as well as the transfer case. You do, at kind of certain engine RPMs and speeds, you do get a little bit of vibration up through the floor, but not bad. So. So what'd you think?
Woo! What a machine.
Yeah?
Yeah, this thing is awesome.
Yeah, do you have any advice for anybody that is considering building one of these things?
Any advice? I would say
not to put you on the spot or anything like that.
I mean, you just like took care of everything, you know, without me having to do much. Just like work your magic and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And those are the customers we like to have.
Leave it in the hands of the experts.
Where I can just do my thing. Yeah, okay. So, first impressions of it?
It's a beast. It's growly and big, and it's got like, feels like 10 times more power than it had before. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. It's awesome.
Steering, shifting?
Steering is tighter than it's been probably in 20 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Shifting is awesome. Feels good. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's like a brand new vehicle that's almost 30 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, well, you guys go take it on your first adventure and use it and take care of it.
Yeah.
And I had it, and now you got it.
Awesome.
So, anything else you guys want to say to the YouTube fans?
Thank you, Joel. Job well done.
Thank you so much.
Another beautiful creation.
Cool, thanks. Okay.
All right.
See you guys. Well, that wraps up this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy the these types of videos, the walkarounds, kind of show off a little bit of these conversions. Anybody that's going to be considering doing one of these conversions, hopefully these videos are informative, kind of show you guys a little bit of how I do them and how they turn out. So if you're hesitant about doing these or think that it's just not doable, you're dead wrong. These things are awesome rigs when they're done, and there's a lot of parts availability and support to make these successful. I usually like to do these trucks with the NB4500s, the manual transmission, so that I can get the exhaust brakes and things like that. But for this one, a customer client had some limitations, and manual transmission just was not viable. And I have to admit, the way that this transmission works and it's calibrated, it actually works very, very well. I mean, the engine is not tuned up so much to where the transmission is gonna have any problems in terms of longevity. And he's probably not gonna be towing anything really big and heavy with this rig as well. It's gonna be a family truckster, an adventure vehicle. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe. It does actually motivate me to make more content. I'm hoping to start to get more content out there, but have a great day. Thanks for watching.